So in a viewer request on the YouTube side of things, I have started watching the Cdrama Go Squid, and I got some thoughts about this kind of esports grumpy sunshine drama. Hi, I'm Monique. I'm the host of Off by Purple Heart podcast, where I talk to you about K-dramas, C-dramas, BTS, and whatever else I want to talk about. In today's episode, I'm talking about Go Squid. I was given this one as a request, and I still have a lot of C-dramas to go over because there's a lot that I've been missing out on. I've been documenting a lot about the C-dramas I love this year, in particular Hidden Love. But I've enjoyed some other ones too. Falling Into Your Smile was another one that I had watched that I made a podcast episode about. And I really enjoyed the esports aspect of it quite a bit. So I'm not surprised that my next C-drama watch is esports related. I also did You Are My Glory as well as a podcast episode. But for this Go Squid C-drama, I get the sense that from first impressions that this is the grumpy sunshine dynamic, right down to the way the two leads dress. So with the male lead character, he's the grump. He's all in black, slicked back hair, constant scowl, and has a really deep voice, which I am going to admit really works for me. There's a point where in the episode that he kind of yells at his team. He's like the team leader, and all of the members of this team in particular are really young. I'm assuming that they're in their late teens. The main lead, is 30 years old, and he basically is reeling from a match that they lost. They actually got in second place against, I guess, arch nemesis rivals. And he seems to have like a personal vendetta against the team that they lost. And, you know, the team is still feeling good. They're celebratory because at least they got second place. And he's like, what the hell do you mean you got second place? Like, there's either champions or trash. And the way he kind of yells it is like he had like a timbre, he had like a growl in his voice. So I was like, ooh. Right? So I'm not really the biggest fan of the trope of grumpy sunshine unless it's the female lead character that's the grump, because I'm always going to be on the woman's side of things. That's just how I am. Like, you know, so you have to tread very carefully with male characters that are perpetually nasty. I get really annoyed when they think they can just talk any kind of way to the lead female character who we're supposed to root for a relationship, you know? I know it's a popular trope, but it cannot be executed very well. Kind of like enemies to lovers. Enemies to lover is a trope that I really enjoy, but it's not executed very well very often. So when it is executed well, I talk to you about it. So this sunshine grumpy dynamic, the female lead is like in white. She's got like the pink frills and pink pom-poms. Like, she's super happy-go-lucky. She happens to have like this meet cute with the male lead in a convenience store, and they kind of just like brush hands, which I am a sucker for when it comes to romance, when two characters really don't know the impact they're gonna have in each other's lives, but they have like this inconsequential meeting and like just part of their body kind of grazes one another by accident. Like, I think Pride and Prejudice with that, which is like the benchmark of romance stories, and you know, I'm a connoisseur of romance in general. So I love that that was their introduction. And then he happens to spend the night in kind of like a gaming cafe, I guess a PC bang you would refer to, like if this was in a Korean setting, but this is a Chinese drama, so not a PC bang. But you know, they, you know, just like a little arcade or what have you. I'm obviously not a gamer, as you can tell. And she's like completely flustered by him, and for her it's like love at first sight. So she's fallen for him already, and he's just kind of glaring at her and kind of growly and scowly. So I hope with this grumpy sunshine dynamic that he'll end up falling a lot harder for her. Otherwise, I'm kind of unsure about it. Like, I find the male lead looks interesting. I don't mean that in like in a shady way. I just think he looks interesting, right? And she comes across really cute. She's really bubbly. You know, she ends up leaving her WeChat to him, and he ends up leaving, kind of looking at her, kind of not necessarily put off by her, but just kind of leery and suspicious. He just seems like a character in general that is very suspicious of people. But they get each other's WeChats, and then she starts blowing up his chat. Basically like, can you come back? Can you come back here? You know, we have all these promotions. We'll treat you real nicely. We'll feed you really well and all this good stuff. And he's like, why is she like consistently blowing up my phone? Like, what is this chick's problem? And I feel kind of secondhand embarrassment for her, because I'm like, Miss Girl, just don't be so thirsty just yet. Just like take a step back. Please relax yourselves. Like, can you at least not have it be shown that you are so into this guy? So that's kind of where I'm at with the romance part. We also meet a couple of side characters. We meet one of her best friends in school. I'm assuming she's college age. And we also meet her senior, who has a crush on her, and he just comes across really nerdy but really sweet as well. They're both like top students respectively, and the friend seems to be wanting to link them up together, and it seems like her senior really likes her too. So I'm wondering if there will be an actual like love triangle, or is this going to be just her eyes are only set on this super, you know, esports grump the whole dynamic through. But I'm kind of intrigued. This drama, Go Squid, from what I see on Viki, is really popular. It was in 2019, I think, that this show was released, yet it still has relatively high rating, and it's kind of up there with some of the top C-dramas, contemporary C-dramas anyway, that I've reviewed on the podcast already. So there might be something here. So I'll say that my positive impression for the first episode is like a good feeling. I'll say that, you know what, the first impression was good enough that I absolutely will check out a second episode. Unlike my previous first impressions of, you know, love between fairy and devil, I think that's what the show was called. I wasn't really that enthused about it. I just thought the show was kind of cheesy, but the ending was kind of good. So I'm kind of up in the air if I want to continue diving into it. But I will check out Go Squid once again, and I will give you an update and see if I end up falling for even more so. But first impression is okay. You know, as I said, Grumpy Sunshine, as far as a romance trope, is not one of my favorites, unless it's the woman that's the grump in the dynamic. But this one, I kind of like the male lead. I can't tell you why exactly yet. There wasn't anything particularly shining about his personality, but it's just kind of the way his voice growls a bit. And I actually think the female lead is super cute. I like how bubbly she is. I just kind of wish that she would take back the thirst a tiny bit, but who knows? I might watch the next few episodes and maybe she'll make him pay for kind of being really dismissive and cold towards her. I don't know. Could be, right? But anyways, I hope you stay tuned into the podcast and see my feelings. Just know that I have a lot of other podcast episodes up on the way. I am really into My Demon right now with Song Kang. I've already done a first impressions of that, and the show has gotten even better, and there is a new episode out as I am filming and recording this podcast, so I want to get into that. I've also started Perfect Marriage Revenge, which at the time of filming this, that podcast should already be out. And let me tell you, that show is explosive. And I definitely got more down the pipeline before the end of this year, because as I said, there is nothing but bangers as far as K-dramas coming out towards the end of the year, and there's still a lot of C-dramas that I want to get into. And I also have to follow up to Love Like the Galaxy, like the love of my life, like that C-drama. Like, I fell off from talking about it for a minute, you know. Until then, I hope you really like this podcast. If you are into K-dramas or C-dramas, please share amongst your friends. If you're watching via YouTube, I really appreciate you. And if you're listening via Spotify or any other podcasting platforms, I appreciate you so much. Till the next episode. Bye.